views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Coming up next, Democrat or Republican? What's in a name? Pavement, pavement everywhere, and nowhere to park. And poetry comes to the Bronx. All that and more coming up next on the Bronx Journal. Hello and welcome to the Bronx Journal. I'm Jim Carney. The Bronx Journal is a collaborative production of Lehman College's Journalism Media Studies Department, the Lehman Multimedia Production Center, and BronxNet Community Television. We bring you the research and reporting of students from the Journalism and Media Studies departments, as well as the work from the music, art, and other programs of study right here at Lehman College. Lehman is the Bronx's senior liberal arts college of the City University of New York. This program is presented through the combined efforts of Lehman and BronxNet Community TV, the Bronx's award-winning community television media organization, and comes to you via BronxNet's cable TV channels and is streamed on demand through bronxnet.org and thebronxjournal.com, and the audio portion is also streamed through Lehman College's TuneIn channel at tuneinradio.com or the TuneIn app. The reporting and work on the Bronx Journal is created by the students of Lehman College. Tonight, we begin by looking for a parking space. The Bronx Journal's Daniel Alvarez leads the search for the elusive open space.
Parking is an issue throughout New York during congested times such as rush hour. I spoke with Nakaja, who find it difficult to park anywhere in Cambridge. She said she fed up with difficult parking signs.
I think it's pretty terrible. The parking around here is never anywhere to park. All of the signs are completely confusing, so you might think that you have a parking space and you end up coming back out and you have a ticket on your car. It's just too much of a hassle. It makes me want to be like a walker. No matter if you're in Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, it's just overpacked. It's too much.
Parking not only creates congestion, but it slows down traffic by preventing motorists from moving.
If you don't get lucky, then you just have to put it in the meter, but then you have to leave your job like every hour to come back and forth to really do it. So it's a very, very hard to manage.
She also suggests the city provide space for residents.
The city is not really providing any public spaces for us, the commuters.
Yeah.
Should be a better idea to use those locations to put public parking so that we can on a daily basis just not to waste so much time.
DOT has somewhat of a solution this month. They rolled out a new initiative that limits the time for double parking to get traffic moving. The department is also cracking down on commercial vehicles that block the lane of travel. The Commissioner, Polly Trottenberg, believes by increasing loading zone, the city will ultimately free up parking space. Reporting for BronxNet, Daniel Alvarez.
Thank you, Daniel. Well, we're going to go to a break now so I can go out and put a quarter in the meter. But when we come back, what differentiates a Republican from a Democrat? We ask some Bronx College students and get some surprising answers. All that when the Bronx Journal returns.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back to the Bronx Journal. I'm Jim Carney. What's in a name? Well, if the name is Democrat, then it tends to be very different from the moniker of Republican. But how do young Bronxites identify themselves, and how did they come to choose Democrat versus Republican? The Bronx Journal takes a look with this report.
In this current political climate, tensions are especially high amongst millennials throughout New York City. Millennials have proven to be more inclined to express their views. While we praise the ability to freely speak on and demonstrate our political preferences, an occurring issue amongst today's millennial generation is their lack of tolerance for people who hold opposing views to their own. Take Ashley Jimenez, a young human resources professional who considers herself fully supportive of the Republican Party.
Republicans would make decisions based on the American people and what is best, for example, for the economy, for the working class, despite what people say. But Democrats really just want to be in power and remain in power, so they'll just do anything to remain that way.
Abigail Rohit is a full-time undergraduate student at a private university studying risk management. Unlike Ashley, she identifies with the Democratic Party.
And the essence of democracy and being a Democrat stands for that type of thing. We want opportunity, we want to be progressive, and we want equality. So with that and a little bit of research into there, I kind of felt like being a Democrat matched my ideologies the most. When other millennials may want to speak out, we have the other side of the millennials who are like kind of pushing them away because they're so almost powerful and like overtaking, and they don't want to be wrong, and they want their opinion to matter and be almost like the fact. They have their own beliefs. They have every right to have their own beliefs. If anything, I do think we should maybe spew discussion over it and talk about things and get each other's perspectives, but it's not always like that.
Fernando Constanza, a systems engineer who grew up in a Democratic household, had a change of heart upon reflecting on his moral values.
I'm not a blind Trump supporter. I am aware that there are things that he may say that are a little off the rails, or there's things he says that are just totally funny. But for the most part, I am a Trump supporter, and he is making America great again. To my surprise, I sided more in my heart morally with Donald Trump's policies. So I said, oh wow, could this be that the views I've always had are more on this side of the aisle? Because I've always had supportive views such as pro-life and heterosexual marriages.
Disagreements amongst the generation are inevitable, particularly regarding to politics. In lieu of opposing ideologies, Jimenez, Rohit, and Constanza share the belief that there should be a stronger emphasis on civil political debates.
For example, there was an instance where a girl had a Make America Great Again sticker on her laptop, and another girl threw hot tea on her because of it. That whole situation could have went way better if she just asked why, or engaged in a thoughtful discussion with her, because she could have been so much more impactful by doing that rather than being violent.
We're at odds right now. We're on opposite sides of the spectrum, Everybody's like, you're either right or you're either wrong.
The ability to understand that this is not a war, but it's just a conversation. And hey, you have different views, I have different views. I'm not your enemy.
Thank you, Samana. The power of poetry can be amazing. Recently, 2 stories of the power of the spoken word took place here in the Bronx. The first was a special event honoring the memory of a poetic giant that took place right here at Lehman College. Let's take a look.
Last year, on October 27th, award-winning poet and playwright Ntozake Shange passed away. On April 8th, the Women's Studies program and English department set up a poetry and performance event here at Lehman College. Through readings of her poetry and performances from artists, poets, and students, Shange's life is commemorated.
Seeing her work is different when you read it in a poem and when you see them acting it out. I know about her work, like the poems and her representing women of color.
A lot of my friends who are Hispanic and Latino, they are very driven to poetry, and they do a lot of open mic.
Her work is so profound, and she's affected a whole generation of women. And really doing the tribute to her, I just have more respect for her as an artist and as an activist. And I see how she has affected so many people. The future of poetry is always here. It comes in different forms, that's all.
We spoke with Chandra Brown about her personal connection to Miss Shange and how she continues to commemorate her life through art.
I first met Ntozake Shange at the Public Theater. In fact, when my mother, through Woody King Jr., and my mother, Dr. Verda Mae Smart Grosvenor, and that was in 1977. And she became a auntie to me because she recognized my spirit, which was close to her spirit, because she represent to me what they called wild women. And she gave me the sense that it was okay to be who I was. And how I continue to keep it going is I'm an artist, and I've always embraced her words as a thread of my life and in my spirit.
Art, period, is a vehicle, it's a weapon of choice, that I use, to address, social ills.
Today we were honoring Shange, a great poetry that was an example for all the Black and Latinas community. So a lot of students came into these events and they all had a great experience. From Bronx Next, Albert Vargas.
Thank you, guys. We go from Lehman College to the South Bronx. Recently, a permanent place took its roots in the South Bronx for poetry. We'll take a look at that story right now.
To create a really rich and juicy artistic space and for people to create and enjoy each other's work, and also leading people through every step.
Bronx Art Space held an event titled Poetry is Not a Luxury, presented by teaching artist Carla Robinson. Teaching Artist Project, also known as TAP, is a program of community word project and a teaching artist training program that allows artists to transform their art to a teaching practice in the classroom by learning more, building community, and gaining skills to inspire kids to read and write.
Creativity is so important, whether or not you become an artist. It's about how you express yourself, about how you empathize with other people and communicate. So arts are important not just for becoming an artist, but just for how you become human and you stay human in the world and relate to other people.
According to poetryfoundation.org, Audre Lorde was a self-described Black, lesbian, mother, warrior, poet, survivor. Both her life and creative talent were dedicated to confronting and addressing injustices of racism, sexism, classism, and homophobia. To inspire the group to write poetry, Robinson drew some inspirations from Audre Lorde by creating a love feast.
I think the lives of Black women and women of color, I think like people who don't fall prey to the stories that they tell us about who we are, like really inspire me to write.
The open and receptive ambience allowed the group to see poetry as a sanctuary, giving them the space to connect. Even I joined in on the workshop. As an exercise, we all created a poem, either from freestyling what we were feeling today, or using prompts like crafting our own litany, imprints of fear, and more.
It's really about making sure that we have art at the center of our lives, right? And really understanding that we should always be documenting what's going on in our lives and that we are all worthy of being art, being the subject of art.
People may be in disagreement with Lorde and Robinson in the case that poetry is a luxury. So Robinson challenged people to write.
I would challenge them to consider that everybody's story is valuable, and the more stories that we share, the richer we get, right? And that even stories of communities in particular that have been historically neglected, or stories of communities that have been deemed disposable, that those are the exact stories that we need to hear the most.
For more information about TAP, visit teachingartistproject.org. Reporting for BronxNet, Adedoyin Ogunjabi.
The power of poetry in the Bronx. Well, when we return, social media. How do students use it or misuse it? All that when the Bronx Journal continues right after this.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to the Bronx Journal. I'm Jim Carney. How do college students use or misuse social media these days? The Bronx Journal's Marvin Allman has the story.
College students express their negative experience with social media and how it has affected their mental health. Social media like Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, Snapchat, Yahoo, and many other platforms does not do anyone justice with how much it is aiding documenting a false and destructive world that is opposite from reality. According to a study conducted by the Pew Research Center about social media usage, found that 60% of people between the ages of 18 through 29 use Instagram on a daily basis. Social media, some may say over the past 10 years, has been a gift that keeps on giving. Some may disagree and say it fuels suicidal thoughts and behaviors for teenagers and adults. We spoke with some students from Lehman College to weigh in on this topic.
I think social media is really powerful, only in the sense how you let it affect you. I think a lot of people aren't aware that social media is there, and it can be used for positive change, but it can also be really harmful if you let social media dictate how you see yourself.
I actually deactivated all my social media. I don't have social media for about 3 years now, and I say this because when I did have social media, I was constantly checking it, and I was always like comparing myself to other people on social media, and I feel like that really took a toll on me, so I just detached myself.
I make videos. I could reach large audiences. I post videos and it connects to everybody.
If you spend too much time on social media, it can start to affect like your real life relationships and like how you interact with people in real life.
I think it's a positive thing, and because my friends are out of country and my family's out of country, they're in Russia, so I could communicate with them better, and I think it's a great thing.
Social media is continuing to create a space that is consuming young people's mind and sufficient time, in which they feel as if they can put their problems online and communicate with strangers to the point where the outcome is often negative. Positive or harmful, social media impacts college students' lives. Reporting from the Bronx Journal, Marvin Alleman.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Marvin. Well, that does it for this edition of the Bronx Journal. This program is a collaborative production of Lehman College's Journalism and Media Studies Department, the Lehman Multimedia Production Center, and BronxNet Community Television. We bring you the research and reporting from the students of the Journalism and Media Studies departments, as well as the work from the music, art, and other programs of study here at Lehman College. Lehman is the four-year liberal arts college of City University of New York. This program, is presented through the combined efforts of Lehman and BronxNet Community TV, the Bronx's award-winning community television and media organization, and comes to you via BronxNet's cable TV channels and is streamed on demand through bronxnet.org and thebronxjournal.com. The audio portion of today's show is available through the Lehman College channel on TuneInRadio.com and on the TuneIn app. The reporting and work on the Bronx Journal is created by the students of Lehman College. If you have story ideas or you want to let us know what you think about the program, drop us a line at thebronxjournal@lehman.cuny.edu or visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/Lehman Journalism. Be sure to join us next time. Until then, from this special summer edition of the Bronx Journal, I'm Jim Carney, and we'll see you in the fall. Take care.